Hey watercolor artists, grab your fedoras and your Cali vibes. We are heading to Southern California, La Jolla area. It's a beautiful day to paint. Thank you to the Hyatt as a teacher and an artist. The chance to be put up in a free suite and paint watercolors is not something that happens every day to me. So I really appreciate that. This scene we are going to do as a mini. We're going to break this down into a 3x3. We're going to look at hard and soft edges, and we're going to create some distance, and we're going to do some fun poppies, show large and small, and do a few things. But most importantly, we're going to visualize the waves. We're going to hear the sea lions and just really take an escape from the craziness of everything that's going on. Let's make some mojo. Hey guys, take your paper. I've divided it in half vertically and horizontally, and that gives me a milestone of where to put your lines. Like about halfway is the bottom of that back coast. Draw some rocks, a little curve, and save some space for the poppies. Don't draw it as darkly as I did. I was for you to see. Do it lightly. I've got Arches cold pressed paper, and I have a 2, 4, and 6 Princeton round brush. I'm gonna flip around a little the sizes. For Daniel Smith paint, I have cerulean blue, buff titanium, raw umber. I mixed a turquoise. I have a yellow ochre and a sap green. So let's wet the background to get started, because this is going to give us a nice diffuse sky and a nice diffuse wet on wet back section here of the back hills. So let's wet both of those. And I'm not pouring water on. I kept my jar and my napkin here, my paper towel, so you could see kind of what I'm doing with that. I think that's good for beginners, even intermediates, to kind of see the amount of water and stuff. Let's get our cerulean blue and drop that up into the top. And by drop it, I mean, I don't really care where it's going. I'm just dropping it in. You could leave a little space for a couple of clouds, but we'll pull those out with a paper towel as well. And we're going to tap a little bit of some darker pigment in sections. So do that, because when it dries, it'll create a more interesting sky. It's not just one solid mass. You can bring this color down to the bottom of the top of the hills. Okay, tapping out some of those clouds, we can concentrate on the tops of them to pull more white out if you want. Make it into, ball it up until it's a little shape that'll make some puffy clouds for you. We're not gonna fuss too much. It's gonna dry and kind of do its thing for us, which is really nice. To create the rocks and make it seem like they're actually 3D and popping out of the water, and the coast, we're gonna do light, medium, and dark. That is our best tool as watercolor artists. Start with light, go to dark, so grab 2 browns. And brush that across. It's still damp, but it's been drying a little bit. What this is gonna do for us is make that back area a little more diffuse, transparent. It's not gonna have any hard edges, and it's gonna maybe even blend a little bit into the sky, which is great. That's a actually great tactic in landscape, is to have a little bit of your sky color blended in. And then I'm dropping a little raw umber at the very bottom, just to define that there's a darker area down maybe in there, and it's gonna really lighten. We're not gonna have that as dark as our values in the front, but it will lighten for us. And this buff titanium, you could also use a really light brown if you don't have that color. Just to take your brown and really lighten it up, or even a real light yellow ochre or yellow. So let's put this same kind of light tan, light color. This is wet on dry, and I'm putting it on the rocks, the coastline, and we're getting that just in. It's not spreading for us much. We're just putting it in wet on dry. And then while that is just done, while our wet on dry is a little wet, we're gonna put a little of the raw umber towards the bottom and right side. Let's pretend the sun is coming from the top left. And I wanna make a rock looking formation at the front here. We just wanna have some idea that it's differentiated, there's different organic things going on. Let's make it look like there's some things coming down, some folds in this cliff area. Just tapping in a little bit. And my brush, my water control, you guys can see I dabbed it onto my paper towel so that my brush isn't too wet and I'm not dropping too much water into the already wet cliff behind it. Okay, we're gonna warm up a little by adding a little yellow ochre into my tannish color, and then
brushing that over lightly over the coast, the sand area. So it's a little bit warmer. That makes things pop forward. And I'm avoiding the little poppies that I sketched in because I want to leave those so that the orange will pop for us. And I'm going to go around, leave a little bit of some white area toward the front so that can be a wave. But guys, I'm going to use a white paint marker. TBH, I don't always leave enough of my white space. Okay, guys, are you ready for the ocean? Let's take your brush. I'm using my fork because it covers a good area without too much. And I am brushing it in not super wet or dripping. I'm brushing it in and I'm being really careful around the rocks. Guys, don't touch the rocks at this point. So use the point of your brush because you don't want those to blend into the blue. And then I'm using it on the side. As I get towards the front, this is just a phthalo blue, but you can make it with blue and a green. When I get here, I'm gonna put my brush on its side, on the belly of it, drag it across and have it catch on some of my paper texture. And then look how I'm drying it on my paper towel. It's pretty dry. And then if I drag it this way, it's leaving little waves for me. See guys? And it's dry brush technique. And it's a really good way to add texture and also to leave some white. And that gives us some waves in there. Oh gosh, isn't it already so pretty? Don't you just want to jump in? Actually, it's pretty rough there. This is the La Jolla area. Oh my gosh, I loved it. Amazing, I could definitely live there. Not on my teacher and starving artist salary, but I could definitely live in a little tiny house or a trailer right there. Okay, take this concentration of it pretty deep and then put it under your back heels to kind of give that a little bit of depth. And then we're gonna do the same, couple little places around where we're underlining maybe some waves. And these, again, guys, these will lighten up. It looks a little dark now, but that's okay. We want that. And then I'm putting some in that little cove area where the waves come in and making it a little darker. Okay, and then leave white around your rocks, but you can go up to the point where you're below them, and then that looks like a little reflection. So I want it darker between the rocks where it's looking like it's kind of in that little nook area, but I'm leaving, you guys can see I'm leaving still a lot of white for the sea. Okay, take a little light raw umber mix, your brownish, and then just pulling some across on the sand where the waves might hit and wet the beach. Guys, here comes the fun with sap green or whatever green you have. I have a yellowish green here in my sap green. It's a little yellow because I had some on my brush from the yellow ochre. But you guys, let's just randomly put in around our flowers, let's just put in some foliage. So I'm not even making it realistic to what poppies are. California poppies are so cool looking. I think they're blooming right now. It's May. Okay guys, make sure you put a little green in the back too. I didn't say that, I skipped ahead a little. Now, I got a little purple, I lied, there's one more color. So a light purple, you could do a blue and put in a little red, and this is gonna make those hills really recede in the back to give it that cool color over the top and darken it a little. So I just brushed that over the top. Everything's still kind of damp. Okay, back to a more concentrated pigment of a raw umber, and that's gonna go under the rocks. Look guys, they're really popping out. It's going to the right side. This one back here, I think should be all in the shadow because it's kind of back there. And then I'm making that one that's in the front just kind of really look like it's separated and popping out. And I think a little bit we'll do here on the side of the cliff there. Just make it look like there's a little more of a volume in the fold there. And then you can put a little bit, again, along the bottom too. Try to leave your white for the wave. And then maybe drag across all the way across the cliff. It's kind of just, it's making it look kind of 3D. We're making it look like a shadow, like there's a little lip there. Okay, just continue. Don't brush around too much because you're going to get rid of what was already dropped there. But because the pigment is fairly concentrated, see, on my napkin. I'm rolling it off to make sure. Now I'm using a little water on this other side to blend. See how that looks? You guys stop this at any time if you need to. Okay, have fun. We're gonna do our orange yellow, our first layer of the poppies. So I made them sort of teacup shaped, random. When I was there weren't actually poppies, so I'm making it up. Use your reference pictures and make up your own fantasy land. That's what we're doing as artists. We're reflecting the world and making our own reality, right? We all need that today. So I'm dabbing in tiny dabs towards the back because that's gonna show depth and distance. You guys know that intuitively already. Let's go ahead and get that purple and just pick a few places on the back. It's still kind of damp back there, but we're gonna go ahead and just create that there might be like some forward and some back, just a little bit. Really, we don't need much. See how much, what a difference just little dabs of things make. You just kind of have to look at your picture and really study it. Okay, and get in sap green or whatever green you have, and just a couple of places. I want it to look like there's some trees coming down that cliff in front. I don't want them to be too dark. But see, they're just kind of hanging out there. We don't know what trees they are, they're just there. And then up in the front, we can strengthen some of the green. Let's make some big stalks of grass, like seagrass coming there. And then just drag the tip of your brush and drag it up. I'm blocking you so you can't see it right now, but trust me, the tip will do a lot of good work for you. You just have to kind of kiss it to the paper and bring those strokes up. And now we're gonna do some stems and a little bit of the base of those poppies. And then you can get, let's put a little bit of greenery just in some, but I'm conscious now, guys, to leave some white spaces because that gives us the watercolory look. It pops things, gives it some space to breathe. And that's so different from acrylics or oils, just having that lightness of the paper. Wherever you feel like you need a little bit more green, you can add it. You can add a couple of random leaf looking things. This is nothing fancy. And then let's put a little bit of darker at the bottom of our little grass clumps to anchor them in. But again, nothing fancy. Okay, and super fun. Let's get our darker orange. And poppies have kind of a circle center. I'm gonna do that. And then a little bit of striping on the outside if you're looking at them sideways for the lights and darks. So I'm putting in a little striping on the leaves there. They're sideways and a little circle in the middle. And we're just not even taking a lot of time to think about it. Just a little bit of darker, but leaving the center. A little bit of darker towards the bottom of ours over there, and a couple of darker dots in the mid-tone ones, the mid-grounds. Like back here, a couple over here. And then I just rolled my brush, made sure it was kind of dry. I'm adding a little bit more to the bottoms and the edges of some of these so the orange is really standing out. Really mostly the bottoms. We're not so worried about realism. We can say what they are, and they're really pretty towards the front. I like the blue and the orange complementary colors against each other. The flowers that were there were a yellowish color and purple. But I didn't want purple. Okay, now I'm getting raw umber and putting that on the tip. I'm just gonna dab that into a little bit of the centers. And then that's it. These guys are done. We're not fussing with these. Wow, we have the raw umber. Let's fuss with the rocks though. We really want them to stand out. So do a little bit more of your dragging across just the right side. This is our third pass. Let's keep that in mind as kind of a rule of thumb to do 3 passes of your light, medium, and dark. All right, and let's do one more. This will be our second round of the green strength, maybe even third, we're gonna just take a few places and add a little darker green to the bottoms, to a couple of the stems, and to a couple of the leaves.
Okay guys, for the birds, the M's are what we're taught and what we see, but let's not make it M's. Let's take a look at making it a little more organic, and it really, we need to add some life into our painting with the birds, but let's not make them flying M's.
I have a super skinny Copic marker you can use for these, anything that you have that's skinny. Even a ballpoint, but be really careful. You want it kind of permanent. Make the wings different thicknesses, different directions. Some can be going completely down. I have 3 over here. I'm gonna put a couple over here. You guys can go kind of crazy. Don't go crazy with it, but my bird-loving daughter would be super happy with these. Okay, my favorite of all time of all the paintings is usually this last part. I just really like it. Plus, I'm not always the best at leaving the white spaces I intend to leave. So let's take your white paint marker or acrylic or Dr. P.H. Martin's or gouache and add some of these details in. I'm gonna put some under the rocks, up onto the beach as waves, a couple in the water as waves, and really just kind of make it look like there's some foam here. This is, you can do this with a lot of things, a white gel pen. I'm gonna put just some fun dots in the middle of the poppies. I like to put some dots around in landscapes just randomly. I think it adds some excitement, like little confetti. And I'm gonna put some on the rocks a little to make it look like there's some water splashing there. Guys, you decide where you think it looks the best. If you don't have it, you can use something else, or you don't need it right now. You can always come back to it and do it later. Okay guys, and my very last thing that I do, I'm doing it in slow-mo because I wanted you to see these sparkles. They're so cool. I use pearlescent white. Hope you enjoyed this one. Keep your mojo flowing. I'll see you next time.